depending on how much you use it, and depending on what cameras you run from it, because you can actually power cameras from these batteries, I would recommend having at least 2 and ideally 4. And the nice thing is that most of the chargers these days have their 4 battery chargers. So you can buy a kit with a charger and 4 V-Lock batteries as a standard sort of off-the-shelf thing, and that's an ideal way to go. And I'll show you what the batteries look like, just so you have a sense of it.
So it's kind of my impression of how this is going to work, Paolo, is that if we're selling it direct, we need to know a lot. If we're selling it with an integrator or a dealer, they're probably going to have some of these goodies in their kit. So if they have them, they'll be telling us. If they don't have them, we'll be telling them what they need to sort of add to their product line.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and again, we'll cover all of that. I just wanted to sort of give you a brief overview of what's in the kit. I'll give you, so this is the AC cable that's down here, and I brought this as an accessory because this is a popular accessory for some people, which is the elbow. We're one of the few jibs, actually we're the only jib, because all the cables run internally, you can actually put an elbow in it, so you can go up and over. And I'll show you what that looks like once we get going. The most popular, if you want to call the Starter Pack Plus an accessory or an upgrade, then that is the most popular, upgrade you'll find. Beyond that, the most common upgrade are extra sections of carbon fiber, because most people are going to want to have the flexibility to go to 20 feet. And that's generally what most people find is enough, is sufficient, is that it's 20 feet. So you get 12 in the kit. And then you generally can, take it to 20 feet if you need to. Going out to 28 is a very rare occurrence, but it does happen, especially with the smaller cameras, the Toshibas, some of the Panasonics, and something like a GoPro. So anyway, so now you've had an overview of the kit. Let me just see here. So basically, now that we're here, I can show you what happens when you pull the kit out and you start putting it together. Right? Or do you want to sort of discuss questions first, or?
I got a question for you. When a traditional camera will have either a sled or some kind of a plate to mount the camera to, and I didn't see in the actual pan tilt zoom gadget what was the option. So you have something. Okay, there you go. In that case, but that's just a traditional, 3/8, whatever it is, screw. But most video cameras don't have that.
Yeah, no, they will. They'll have it on there, or they'll have a plate for it or whatever. Yeah.
So we'll adapt their plate to the bottom of the gadget.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't generally want to put too much other stuff on there, because what happens is you add weight.
Understood.
And so that's why this is a very small, minimal means. What I often will recommend for larger cameras is 2 of these, and that helps to cinch them and also keeps them from moving back and forth. But outside of that, this is more than enough. Again, we've had C300s on here, we've had Scarletts on there, AF101s, and they've all been attached with just 1 or 2 of these, and that's it.
Okay.
Okay. So
you arrive on the scene.
So basically, again, what happens is you get to the scene, you open your case, you can sort of cover it just the way I did, or you can just say, let me show you how it sets up. You pull together your tripod. You next want to pull out your rigging stand. Set that up.
Rigging stand comes in the case, correct?
Comes in the case.
That's standard. That's standard.
It's standard part of both Plus and standard
Okay.
pack. Just trying to think, should I do it this way, do you think, or this way?
I'm thinking if you can do it.
This way?
Why don't you do it sort of like at a 45, yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is I'll put the rigging stand, you want to put the rigging stand a short ways away from you. The first thing you're going to do in all cases is you're going to pull out this is what PoleCam calls section 1. This is the section that mounts on the tripod. Okay, so you pull this out, and you can see I've already attached the standard tripod plate, okay, to this part. That just, I So this is my demo kit, so it's
Right,
already
so already
on
set
here.
up for your demo.
But if you were doing this with somebody else's tripod, this would be the first thing you do is you pull the plate out of here, attach it to the bottom, and then you would snap it in like that. I have to open the plate first. And there you go. Snaps in, and then this will just hang here. Okay, that's normal. So this is it. You just want to make sure that the plate is in here and it's solid and it's locked. And then you're basically ready to rig your system. Okay. First thing that you want to do is you want to release the cables at the front. Now, as you saw, this was kind of, I guess, what we call partially rigged. Now, we do send them out like this from the factory, but keep in mind, all of these cables that you're seeing here can be completely stripped off of it. They can be completely pulled out. They're not built in. It's not a situation where they're somehow, attached to any of the pieces. So you're going to see that there's basically, in a Starter Pack Plus, there's 3 or 4 cables you kind of need to be aware of. This one is going to be the longest one. It has a 12-pin Lima on this side, and this is your head cable. Okay? So I'm just going to, for now, just get it out of the way and put it, somewhere over here. These are shorter cables, and you'll notice that this one, the head cable, comes out of the front end, the tube or the cannon. The other cables, you'll notice, come out of this part in the middle. Okay, this is what we call the joystick output, or I don't know what you want to call it, but these are the attachments that go to the joystick and the monitor that sits closer to the operator. Okay, so slot A, call this for lack of a better term. So this is again, it's a 12-pin LEMO, but there's a short flying lead for power off of it, and that comes up through here. You have coming out of here as well 4-pin XLR power to power the monitor, and video that goes from the head to the monitor for the operator. Okay? Often you'll also find, not in your demo, but just so you know, you'll often find another video cable that goes out from the monitor down back here to Video Village or the director or somebody else, something like that. So we also throw in a bunch of these Velcro cable ties. You can just throw them on the back. The system is designed to be put together with no tools. It's all Velcro and stuff that's cinched up easily, so you don't need any tools to do anything. If you are going to, for some reason, take apart the stuff, you will need hex keys, but generally that's not necessary. So you throw that on there, and then we decide how many pieces of carbon fiber we want. That's the next question. So because we're a little limited on space, I can do 1 or 2. I don't know, whichever you prefer. Does it matter?
Well,
let's start with 1.
Looks like one is a safe bet.
So I see in the price list we have terminology: stiff carbon fiber section, full, half, and quarter.
Right. So
what's that?
This is a full, and these are the standard ones that come with it. You can get, they're obviously a half is half, a quarter is a quarter. Okay. We can actually do custom lengths. If somebody said, you know what, we've done this once, to be perfectly honest, for a hospital where they, put one particular tube up. Sorry, I don't want to smash the ceiling, but they put one tube up and they wanted to go out across a certain length. So they said to us, we need, I think it was a 14-inch tube. And they wanted that cut. So we can cut it and mill it to any length that's necessary. The standard sizes that we have in stock are, 1 meter, which is roughly 3.5 feet. Half of that, 50 centimeters, which is whatever it is, 1 foot and 3/4, and then a quarter, which is about that big. And those you'll have in stock and ready to go. So 2 things to keep in mind for this. Let me just.
Can you see, Carl?
Can you see everything? I think he's on a call.
Yeah, he's on a call.
That's okay. So what you get in this accessory wallet, which is not necessarily needed for this application, but I wanted to show to you, is what's called a cable tie. Not a cable tie, a cable feeder. Sorry. This is not a cable tie, this is a cable feeder. You don't need to use it absolutely, but when you get multiple cables, sometimes you will have, different video cables running up here, and other stuff coming up through the head. Oops, sorry, let's uncurl the joyous cable situation here. So we don't have too many knots in it before we start, sorry.
But I see you only have the LEMO at the end. Where's the video cable for the end?
We can.
You have to pull that through yourself, or you have to.
Well, it actually depends on how you do it. I just realized that what I've done is I was using this as a video cable to feed an external monitor. So what we'll do is I'll actually, it's a good opportunity to show you how to feed a cable through the actual unit. So let me take this out here for now.
Let's scoot over here a little bit.
Sure. So we'll leave this here. So we're going to take this video cable, sorry, which is the cable that comes down here for the monitor, and we're going to loop it around. And what I do with cables generally is to give them a nice, you know, space. If you're in a clean environment like this, you can just dump them on the floor, but if you happen to be outside, you put them in your case or maybe, you know, some kind of, you know, whatever, bag or something to put it on. So what you do is you'll see under here, this is where the cables come in and out, down here, okay? So you kind of push these out of the way, and then you feed the cable that you need to feed through here, and you just literally run it up. You'll see that it starts to come out here. You're going to fish for it here, and if you have trouble with it, you can simply tweak this so that gravity helps you to feed it down. And again, this will either be ready for you in most cases, or in some cases, you know, if you need to do it, it'll just take a minute. So there it is. You can see it's just popped out here. And then you can simply pull it through until it's make it as long as you need it. Okay? So this brings us back to the cable feeder.
You have a nut. You're going to want to refeed this.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll feed the, thank you.
Yeah, that's my job.
There you go.
Not bad.
Someone's paying attention. Let me lock the head so it doesn't spin around. Okay, let me just do this.
Oh, I'll have to feed too.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I'll just lock one to make it a little easier. Okay, so this is where you use the cable feeder. So you've got two cables, right? You open this puppy up, and then you stick them both in there to make it easier. So you've got one thing to feed now.
So it's like a little sock.
It's like a little sock.
Yeah.
Goes in here, just goes straight through, and then you kind of, you know, pull on the
Right, let even them out.
well, yes, we just have to get rid of this knot as much as we possibly can to keep feeding it. Just pull it all the way through, and you'll see that it comes out the end, and you're not going to need much more than that, okay? So to even it out, we come back here, okay, so we've got extra cable. Again, hopefully in a demo situation, you will have done this so that it's actually rigged up to the length you want. This was actually rigged for 3, because that's what we normally build. But so because it's, you know, obviously we're going to be building only one, whoops, we're going to pull the rest back. So you can pull this through to here, okay, and then we can cable manage afterwards. So you literally slide this through. Now you'll notice when you're putting this on, there is a little nylon nipple right here, okay? But it pushes in, so you
Okay.
can see that. So that slides right in there, and then just before you get there, you want to push that in and let it slide, and then you'll see at the bottom here, it'll pop out.
Is there a hole here?
Yep, there's a hole down there and it'll pop out. You just keep turning it until it pops out.
I got you.
Okay, and that locks it, and that's all the locking you need, is that one.
Do you want to get a picture of that, Barry?
I'll get it later.
So there's just that one clip here. So again, even here we've got far too much cable for what we need. But again, we can leave it for now. Let's see if we can clear this.
And was the idea that you were supposed to put that gadget in there to hold
Well,
it?
again, had we had more length, then yes. Normally with one piece you wouldn't really need it, but you can put this in here like that, and that will keep it. So that'll gives you the idea of what the goal is. So then what you want to do is you want to really clean up your cables before you get too far. Now again, if we'd been doing 3, this would have been, you know, perfectly suited to it. But we're just going to hang this, and there's a hook on this side, which, oops, excuse me. Get this out of the way for a second. So there's a hook on this side, which is where all the cables are kept. And that just keeps everything nice and neat. Alrighty. Whoops. Okie dokie. So that's the power, the head cable, and here's my video cable. Gonna skinny this up, and we'll just manage it a little bit so that it's out of the way. So all of our cables are now essentially hooked up there. So we still have the power cable, okay, that's back here. And then we have the video lead for the monitor and the power lead for the monitor, which we're just going to leave in front. And then we pull our little sock off, our little cable feeder off, and that can go back into the accessory envelope. And we're going to have to pull this a little bit further back to give you an idea, right to about there. Say right about there for the head. So we adjust this up a little, so it makes it a little bit easier. Okay. So just clean up the cables a little more. Okay. Yeah, it's going to float away a little bit until we put the head on it. Okay, so the cables are a bit of a mess here, but we'll deal with them in seconds. So, next thing that you want to do is you want to pull the head out. Okay? The important thing about the head is these two cables go through the center of the head, where it connects, which is in here.
Okay, there's a little hole in there.
Yeah, there's a little hole in there, and they both go in here, and that allows you to snap the head on like that. It's all kind of floating away. Okay, so the head snaps on. I can do it again so you can see it. It just literally snaps on like that. Cables going through the bottom. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to basically just get it centered up so that this is as vertical as you can get it by eye, and then you cinch this up.
And that's what's holding the head onto the pole.
That's what's holding the head on,
The
and
cinch.
there's essentially a silicone gasket in there that when you tighten it crimps down on the thing, and you actually can't pull it off.
Okay.
You know, you can't pull it off if you tighten it properly. And you do want it to have a little bit of give. Okay, it's not like it should be such that you can't move it at all, because if you run into anything or if you bump into anything, you want it to have a little bit of give. Okay, so that will protect everything from breaking rather than, so it's meant to bend rather than break. Okay, so you've got two cables back here. One will go into the head, just like that.
Alright.
I'm gonna,
So you got the lean.
so you've got the LEMO connection here, LEMO connection here. It just snaps in like that.
Do it again. It's like out of focus. Good now.
Okay, there you go. That just snaps in. Yeah. Red to red, obviously. And then you have the video connection, which will connect up to back here. Okay, and there's our head is attached. Okay, so next you're going to work backwards from the head. So you're going to put your
Monitor mount.
monitor mount on here, roughly. So again, normally this is where we put the monitor, but we're on a bit of a shortened version. So we'll put the monitor mount here, and again we're going to have to, you know, pull the cables back a little bit. But the monitor mount simply snaps on there, and you'll notice that I put the cables underneath it. So there's a space.
Now, why are you putting it there?
What do you mean?
Well, if you had the next three poles, you would. But if you were just using the short one,
normally, because you don't want to put it this close to the head. Normally, if the other poles would be.
I understand. But why are you putting it now since we're only using a short rod?
He's wondering why you're not putting it way down.
Oh, well, I'm putting it in the middle. I mean, I can put it closer to here. You can put it anywhere you want along
Okay.
the carbon fiber. I mean,
Okay.
it doesn't make a difference.
But
It's just because this way I've got, you know, way more cables to go over.
Right.
But you can put it here. Is this,
Okay.
is this preferable?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just.
Yeah. It's just, again,
I understand
we're kind of like, because it's such a short pole, we're not really.
But it mounts onto the fiber, not onto
Not onto the metal.
not onto the base metal. Okay.
Right, it's
That's
designed
the
to mount onto the carbon fiber.
got you covered.
So again, there's our cables, and I'll pull out our monitor. And you know, the way this just normally mounts, you just
Yeah.
hold onto the monitor, tighten this puppy up. And again, you want to hold the most expensive bit so that it doesn't fall down. So then you tighten that up, pointing towards you.
Okay.
Then you've got the 4-pin power there, and you've got SDI in right here. Okay, so now your monitor is set. And again, you can release this and adjust it for whichever way you like it, tilted up, tilted down. It's a universal clamp. Finally, what you're going to do is you're going to take your joystick. And again, it's all Velcro. The first thing you want to do on the joystick is you want to actually plug it in. You don't want to be messing around. There's a Velcro cable here, and most people do is they end up trying to put it on here, and then they'll drop it. So if you plug it in first, just do that. Oops, sorry. Snap, come on. There you go. That way, if you futz with it, excuse me.
God bless you, perfect.
Sorry about
Perfect
that.
demonstration.
Yeah, so if you futz with it now, you can, it'll fall and won't hurt itself. So you've got a very simple clip here that snaps in, pulls tight, and now you've got your joystick. Now the joystick, same thing, it would normally mount further up, but it can mount here. Some people even like it mounted back here, which we don't recommend, but you can do it. Again, it's a system that's designed to be configurable to your needs, to whichever, whatever you desire, okay? So I'll put this back on here. So now, you're essentially ready. Now I would clean up the cables a little bit here. See here,